There is a lot on the plate in tonight's Food for Thought, so we'll get straight to it. KCBD News Channel 11's Christy Harton joins us now to dish out what health inspectors found. Christy?
Karen, from a well-known Mexican food restaurant to a new and popular breakfast brunch joint, our low performers have a combined nearly 100 violations. We start where many people start their day. Snooze at 413 University had 14 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. Raw sausage and raw chorizo were above ready-to-eat vegetables. An open container of crab meat and ready-to-eat potatoes did not have an expiration date. Other potatoes were expired. An employee washed their hands for only 8 seconds. They must wash their hands for a minimum of 20 seconds. An employee touched the ice of a customer's beverage with their bare hands. An employee used the sanitizer rag to clean utensils. The sanitizing solution was not strong enough. Sanitizing solution was stored on top of a cooler, and there was no thermometer in a reaching cooler. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. La Super at 2131 Clovis had 22 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. Raw eggs were above ready-to-eat salsa. A container of food was sitting on top of an uncovered food container with the bottom of that top container touching the food. An employee washed their hands for less than 20 seconds after eating. An employee walked into the kitchen and did not wash their hands before putting on gloves. An employee washed their hands in the 3-compartment sink. There were pots of food blocking a hand sink. There were plastic containers in a hand sink. Hand sinks are for hand washing only to prevent cross-contamination. The rubber was torn and peeling on a pair of tongs. A pot of cooked beans were stored under the fire extinguisher. The facility prepares ceviche for sale without regulatory authority. The inspector notes, based on the number and the nature of the violations, proper food safety knowledge was not demonstrated. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. On the border at 6709 Slide had 23 violations. Here's a look at those priority violations. Cooked chicken was not at least 135 degrees. The sanitizer solution for the dishwasher was at toxic levels. A chemical spray was not labeled. A chemical spray wand was on top of a box of disposable cups. A hand wash sink was not plumbed correctly. A lid was in a hand sink. Hand sinks are for hand washing only. There were no test strips available for the sanitizer solution. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. Dreamers Bistro at 1003 University had 24 violations. Here are their priority violations. Dirty utensils were stored with clean utensils. Dirty utensils were in the hand sink. Employees used their bare hands to turn off the faucet. A paper towel must be used to prevent cross-contamination. Employees washed their hands in the 3-compartment sink. The facility does not have an approved plan for the acidification of rice. This helps prevent bacteria from forming in rice that's used for sushi. Ham, turkey, and crab did not have a use-by date. There were no test strips available for the sanitizing solution. Pesticides not approved for food service were used at the establishment. The facility does not maintain required records for raw fish. There was no certified food manager or posting at the establishment, and employees have not successfully completed their food handler course. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. Now to this week's good news. Here's a look at our top performers. Flamingo Cantina at 4820 Southeast Drive, Eskimo Hut at 305 Frankford, Dave's Ice Cream, and Wildfire Wood-Fired Pizza. For a complete look at all of those violations, just head to kcbd.com and click on Food for Thought. And Karen, we've had a lot of people reach out to us asking about the Red Zone Cafe on Slide Road. They were temporarily shut down last week after an inspection. That inspection was prompted by a customer's complaint after seeing a rodent in the facility. We've requested those documents from the city. They have since reopened after a re-inspection. Karen, back to you.
Thank you, Christy.